Hi guys, welcome to round 5 of my coverage of Aronian's recent tournament victory. In this position, Aronian is black against Arkady Naiditsch, a 2700 plus player from Germany. And in this position, white played bishop takes a7. Totally normal move. If black tries c5, white can always go rook e5, followed by bishop takes c5, for example, and it should be okay. So instead, black took an a3. And after rook takes rook, rook takes rook, the white pawn took an a3. Now, this is why Aronian's tournament reminds me of Carlsen a little bit. Because you know that Carlsen is famous for something. He's famous for winning positions that no one really believes he has a legitimate chance to win. And that's what happens in this game. So first strange thing that Aronian does, he doesn't take this pawn off, which you would kind of expect. But after takes, maybe white will go a5, swing the bishop to d4, put the bishop on c3, and just kind of defend all these pawns with his bishop. Instead, he plays a move rook e4. Very strange move, but alright, c3, rook takes a4. And you look at this position, and it's just like, okay, this seems completely unwinnable. For example, it's bishops of opposite color. Let's imagine you lose the a-pawn. And you just stick your, like this position, even without the a-pawn on the board, if white's rook is active, it's just this one pawn against these two. How? How can black ever win this? Let's see what happens, though. So black immediately brings the king to the center of the board. A very important thing to remember from top players' games. They know about king activity in the endgame. I think it's one of their strong points. Grandmasters, pretty much. They just go for it right away. That king is coming in ASAP, almost every time. So black's king is more active than white's. It's very clear. We're just going to make a few more moves here, because nothing too exciting happens right now. I mean, honestly, even though black's king is active, white should still be able to hold this. But you notice that what you're going to see is this king activity is going to be one of the main reasons why black pulls this game out. f6, blocking the bishop, and after a5. The problem now, though, the rook is tied down to defend the pawn. Black went g5 check. The idea is if takes, king takes, rook g6. Again, there's not much. I'm not showing this for instructional value, these moments. I'm kind of just showing how the game progressed, how it went from this position that looked dead drawn to where all of a sudden black has an active king and is kind of making life difficult for white. But okay, he just went king h5. Pawn takes pawn, rook a4. King c3, gave up that pawn, but took this one, and he still has this passed a-pawn. So black still has pretty decent chances here. Rook takes f6. Now, if rook takes rook, bishop takes c4. We can go a6, c3, a7. We can do this. King h6. If black makes a queen, we take this, and now these two pawns are too fast, and white should actually be winning here. So black did not trade. Black instead went rook to e3. And after h4, c4, rook f5, rook to d3 defending the bishop, a6, c3. Now this pawn's fast, but this one is too. So it's like really very complicated game still. c2, bishop h6 defends the square. Bishop to c6. And now, bishop to g5. The reason for that is because black has a threat behind this move of bishop e8. Is that a lie? That's totally a lie. What am I thinking? Oh no, yeah, bishop e8 is a threat. Sorry. So like, if you do something like rook c5, we force the king to interfere with his bishop. Oh, okay. I mean, I guess. Oh yeah, now rook d5 wins. And after rook takes rook, we make a queen. So black did have a threat with that move. Rook to c5. I'm sorry, bishop g5 was played, though, to make sure if bishop e8, we can now go king h6. Rook to d6 was played, threatening bishop e8, checkmate. Rook e5, bishop f8, bishop a8, sorry, rook c5. And it looks like white might have things under control. Rook to f5, because it's very hard for black to make a queen with this pawn on c2. The bishop controls it securely, and we can always control it with the rook. And black can never use his bishop to help, and it's tied down to this a pawn. So black plays rook to d7 here. And the question is, what should you do for white? This is the key moment of the game. It's not super easy. What would you do here? This is when Naiditsch finally cracks. The whole game he's been defending okay, and he can probably still draw, although it's still a long road ahead. He must simply play rook a5. This pawn is so crucial to his defense. You can't give up this pawn, because as soon as you do that, the rook and the bishop are no longer tied down to defending the pawn from queening. Instead, he played this check. His idea is that black will play king to b2. And after that, we will play, oh God, I can't remember the move. I think, oh, bishop c3. If king to b1, rook to b3. And basically, after king here, I'm trying to remember exactly how it goes. I think still this move. Maybe not, though, because then king d1 is annoying. I don't remember. I remember white can do something here. I think rook a3. No, but then king d1, and we're going to make a queen. Oh, my apologies. In this position, we actually play the move. Yeah, we actually have to let him queen, which is kind of annoying. Just did some analysis with Houdini. We let them queen, and then we start to go after the other pawn with king here, h5, g6, etc., etc. But that's all very unpleasant for white to even allow. So rook to f3 was a huge mistake. He had to go rook a5. Just calmly defend the a pawn. If black goes rook d1, we can play a move like rook to c5. And black has trouble ever just making a queen, because of what I talked about earlier. Is we will just kind of push these pawns, and white should be winning here, because this bishop can't stop them. So, unfortunately for Naiditsch, though, he made the wrong move. He played rook f3, and after king a2, which is stronger than king b2, by the way, because there's no more bishop f6 check, oh, he's in big trouble. He played rook f2, and now king to b2. Bishop e3. I think if bishop check, we can just move the king, and we're going to queen the pawn next move. So he went bishop e3 to stop the pawn from queening, bishop rook e7, bishop f4. Also, bishop e3 defended the a pawn, but now after rook e7, we're attacking the bishop, and if the bishop moves one way, we make a queen. If it moves the other way, we take the a pawn. And so after we win this a pawn, white fell apart pretty quickly. Bishop to e4, defending this key pawn. Bishop to d3, pawn to c4, pawn to c3. By the way, if g6, we can just take, go rook to a6. And the idea is that we will simply give up our rook and bishop for this pawn. We'll make one queen. White will take the queen with his bishop. We'll recapture, and then we'll make a second queen. So after c3, white played bishop c1 check, king to b3, bishop e3, rook to e7, bishop c1, rook c2, so rook e2, and then rook to d2, and there's no stopping rook to d1, and white simply resigned. So what do we get out of this game? I mean, I couldn't find many like super instructional key moments in this game. What I really got out of it, though, was the fighting spirit of Aronian and his ability to win this position, which seemed like a hopeless dead draw. Like, you would expect them almost to agree to a draw very soon. Instead, he walked his king up to c4 and somehow just slowly outplayed Naiditsch with just the smallest of edges in a rook and bishop of opposite color endgame. Very similar to what Carlsen did against Karyakin about a year ago. So I think it was in this very tournament, actually. Last year's Tata Steel, Carlsen beat Karyakin in a similar type of rook and bishop versus rook and bishop of opposite color endgame, where nobody thought he would have any chance to win. So I'm telling you, Aronian played really, really well this tournament. He showed a lot of traits that Carlsen generally has. And I'm really looking forward to seeing them play in the Zurich tournament, although that tournament's already started by the time you've seen this video. But I just want to see how Aronian plays there against those guys, because he's playing like a beast right now. Thanks all for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.